with whatever we do. Insafu nola with whatever we do. Haleyi demu school. Nyepamne ne kulukula. Nyepangi ragala gena. Nyepamne ne kulukula. Ibuloke nungoto ni beti sola. Ibuloke dato ni betoto.
Bengi. Bengi Congo.
Lamin.
Na?
Lamin te jibe norin te nyame Lamin.
Kabana wulokono.
Wulokono nyinte mo Lamin.
Pabilenki.
Muna ngata afomole.
Haina.
Ngata. Ngoto le.
Baba nyola.
No. Faburama.
Na mu jumala kan kuma ni ten.
Faburama.
Jumala mu.
Ndele bare muso.
Lunda bana.
Famo kata.
Jamani mbere.
Alindo. Bari ngoto man kontande.
Bari jamani fana na mudu wala mo kontan.
Ngoto minaka ngalamin de fom filitala. Lamin jibe nori nyala.
Lamin ida siran sama ne benki. Yala so tol sayni no ko mo lakko momo.
Ngoto.
Nam.
Itedinte yalo ne Lamin hakilo diata bake karamu ngoto. Anu sainteng ministry ko di ngole si suwo ko amake ko be holi di
si bitun
Bagona de
Sibiru.
kede namo balo ba
ala na ko na karta bulo be damna ala nije.
Ngoto.
Nam.
Ngoto man kontan fere.
Jamani mu ne keda.
Ite ka Lamin ay mon ko do fete malo Lamin nyande sila la
Jamani karamol be soron ne ko fasita wulo ko nako.
karambuwol ma soron ni ko karambuwol soron da amake comme holiday lem ngoto dini ngo nyanta sila la ala karangola mo yamen kamen fue man kontan anda man
Mbolen do la jan karamol soron da do lo kombo mol soron je karamol soron Lamin ada lo nyino la man tara fe na sokon ala mu ne kela
ite fete malo ko lesinol be ke kar radio to
nga fine.
e ko nyana di mod Lamin ya mu na fonye
bir kabim mina kan tambita imani
ha
tambite la sugal ala dini ngol bebe siri be la moyka
faru danso am fana tambira jele ni subala nga alanta nin kili warol e be serin jele
sa Lamin fanante ku kili wo ke no la aka wulo ko no nyinta mo Lamin
amandara fenela
ite dine ko ni lesinol la moy radio to ibalon na
mu ne ka ke afonye ba nyara ni afonye ba mu ne be ke
ite balon tel be cikiritel ni man karan be ku kele yaje nata karan mbasa
dara kombo ide na raje ni son ala wulo ko karamol be so afonye membe ke
ngoto wole nati bawo ngalle ni Lamin kun kombo kurang o ka fa me kombo kurang asototal wala kinay ko e sisu kono bari ni ko e sisu kono be karangol di ke la radio ni telel to asoto bar radio be bulan koto ay si ay alamu
sa do kala
nyaadi ko ta o bulan
ado kala nyaadi
kamun ke nyaadi
radio abe wala mo la be mo na falaje
ibe jele
ti talle be radio ko
subject to baby jele
nanga chocho moy fa dan so wolya ngombe tambi kana ngadi ningol jebe ikadum bungo ko kada ma mo
asototal de
Lamin ma
bari lafta alal ideal on ko inde every year second wala fourth
akonde ko folle sinila mba ndele sinlo ne ba
say mba foke en koto wole fango yen wulindi yalo famo keta bat bulata kol ko me yen nati jambi takarana ndel beji ko be nyine ka ya bulay kara wulo kana ta kilari ya bambalo yo be bulaje en koto di ayala lesino la moy radio
wara ka munda karamol man soro Lamin nyana kada si so na regular
silale ayala lesino
ndale ko korna ko mo be ngala ko momo say mi do ni foto kera am ndale ko la da baro sa no bari woro radio ni abe jele ko ngamra do man nyana nyar wofram ko fendi mo la
barate ku folo ajibe nori nya labi tamete ku
mingi mun na de
teku
bari ko do famo ke
image nani nyambol si zol le kenye kisigi man si zol le kafunga nyoma bari nyambu kino ni manya na kafindi ni nambe ko resor la jang
mbo do dilana
nyara ni ko rin fenat nada
bari famo ke da
ngata bungono tabi bungono nyara ngando ko fele nañu pelo la di jak
iyo ay batar la
bungono bismillah bisu diara
pendulala yefungo tanka sina dolu tanka koro ta koro
Hello viewers and listeners, welcome to another lesson on depression and depression, continuation from the previous lessons. We go to the assignment that we have in our previous lesson. A point is away from the foot of a tower on the same horizontal ground. From point H, the angle of the P on the tower and the top of the tower are 30 degrees and 50 degrees respectively. Calculate correct three significant figures: distance A, B, the distance between H and the top of the tower, and C, H, if the angle of depression of H from the top of the tower is to be 40 degrees. Now we get the sketch. The sketch, a point H is 20 meters away from the foot of a tower horizontal. We get that first. They say this is point H, 20 meters from a tower on the same ground. Let's look at the next one. A point H is 20 meters away from the foot of a tower on the same horizontal ground. That is the foot of a tower. I say this is the tower. Up. On the same horizontal ground. From the point H, the angle of elevation of the P on the tower and the top T of the tower, of the P on the tower, you can, this, the top of the tower, we don't know which position will be, so we just put it anywhere on the tower. This is T and this is P on the tower. We look at it again. From H, the angle of elevation of the P on the tower and the top T of the tower. So the top of the tower and P is just on the tower, anywhere on the tower. Then the angles are 30 degrees and 50 degrees respectively. 30 degrees and 50 degrees respectively. This will be 30 degrees. And this one here is 50 degrees respectively. Asked to calculate. Then they tell you calculate correct three significant figures. PT. Calculate correct three significant PT. This point P and T. This is a right angle triangle. If you look at this, we have two right angle triangles in this diagram. I'll put here Q where the right angle is. So T, Q, and P, H is also a right angle triangle. In order for you to find the T, you will first find the whole distance TQ using the right angle triangle TH, and you find the distance PQ using the right angle triangle H, then subtract them and get the distance PT. You find the PQ with triangle THQ. To get the right angle triangle, this is the right angle. Here is Q. Will be, this is T up here. Then here is H. We have the angle THQ. Angle degrees. The distance is 20 meters. Here is also 20. So we will find TQ now. How do we find TQ? We use the trig ratios. T of 50 and the adjacent of 50 is 20 meters. So what do we use? We use tang. The Socatua, the tang is what we will use. So we will say tang theta is equals to opposite over adjacent. We have tang equals to opposite over adjacent. Opposite is TQ, so we will have tang theta is 50, which is equals to opposite T all over the adjacent, that is 20. So we just get 20, calculation sake, the adjacent 20 meters. Cross multiply, this is over 1. If you cross multiply, TQ is equals to 20 tang 50. How much is that? If you press your calculator, TQ will be, decide TQ will be equals to, if you press the calculator, you will have 23.84 meters. 23.84 meters. What did the question ask us? Question PT. So we just found TQ. TQ is the whole distance there. Now we look the triangle in our next right angle triangle. It will be right angle triangle PQH. We have that triangle. We have here, we have Q, and we have H is our another right. We will find that distance P. We know this distance to be 20 and it to be 30 degrees. The angle is 30 degrees, so we use the same format. We use the tang to find the distance PQ. Is going. We have equals to opposite over adjacent. So our opposite, if you get the opposite, of tang 30 is equals to opposite the side PQ all over the adjacent, which is 20. So if you cross multiply, our PQ will be equals to 20 and 30. How much is that? 20 times 30. So we'll have PQ is equals to 20 times 30 is 11.55. What are we asked to find is the distance we are asked to find from the question is PT. So we found the distance T and we find the distance. So to get PT, you will subtract TQ minus PQ. We get the distance we are asked to find. Here. So this TQ distance is what we will take. The distance TQ is 20. TQ minus PQ was our distance PT. So our PT now, PT is equals to TQ is 3.84 11.84 minus PQ 11.55. 11.55. So our PT is equals to 23.8 minus 11.55 is 12.29. So this is our distance PT, the side PT. Now the question asks you, the three significant figure is 1, 2, 3. Non-zero digit of the number is the first significant figure. That is where. So 1 is our first non-zero digit. So we will have first one, 2, and the next at the decimal point is the third one. Look at the digit after it. If it is 5 at 1, less than 5, we leave it as it is. So to 3SF, PT will be 12 meters. For PT is 3 meters, 3SF. Let's look at the question again. We are asked to find PT, and PT is 3 meters, that is found. And between H and the top of the tower, the distance between H and the top of the tower, between H and the top of, so that will be in triangle. We will look at right angle triangle THQ, and that distance is, the distance there is TH. We first find TQ. When we find, we got that one as 23.84. When we find TQ, we got it as 23.4. So to find this other one, we have many ways to do that. You can use the Pythagoras theorem to find it, and you can use the trigonometric ratios to find it. Let's use the trigonometric to find it. So we have the right angle triangle. Let me get it up. The right angle triangle we have. So that right angle triangle we can say cos. Cos is over hypotenuse. Adjacent over hypotenuse. Over hypotenuse. So in the triangle we have here right angle triangle. T here, we have Q here, and we have at this other side. So this is the right angle, that is the triangle there. So we have this as 20 meters, and we have this angle 50. The angle is 50 degrees. We are asked to find the distance to the top of the tower. The top of the distance H. How do we find that using the trigonometry? We have this cosine. I want us to use cosine now. Cos theta we said is adjacent over hypotenuse. The adjacent is 20. Hypotenuse is the longest side of a right angle triangle. So that will give us cos 50 is equals to 20 all over the hypotenuse, which we don't, that is TH, the hypotenuse TH. This is over 1. If we cross multiply, what do we have? We have T is equal to 20. So after that, what do? We are looking for TH, the side TH. We divide by cos 50, divide this by cos 50, and divide here also by cos 50. You realize cos 50. So what do we have? We have TH is equals to over cos 50. 20 all over cos 50. So the side TH is equals to 20 all 50 is equals to, so TH is equals to 0.11, TH is equal to 1.11 meters. So the question tells us to three significant, the first non-zero digit, I tell you again. So this is the first one, 1, 2, 3. You look at the digit after the third significant figure. If you add 1 less than 5, so here 5, T so 31. What did the question ask us to find? The distance of the, so that distance is TH, so the distance is 31 is 0.1. The distance is 31.1 meters. The last part of the question, C. The H, if the depression of H from the top of the tower is to be 40 degrees. The position of H, if the angle of depression, the position of H, if the angle of depression of the tower is to be 40 degrees. The position of H, the top of the tower is to be, is just also the angle of 8 degrees. The position of HB. Are we going to bring it is or is it going to go farther? That position of H. That is very important. If it works towards the, if you are standing at H and you walk towards the tower, angle of elevation will walk close your turning point towards something, an object you are observing above, that turning point increases. But if you walk farther, the angle reduces. Now we look at the position of H to the top. Now that angle of elevation there is 50. Meaning from the top of the tower to the position H, the angle of depression from the top of the tower to that position H is 50 as we get it. Now at will we have if the angle of depression is to be 40 degrees. So we have to get that. I have a sketch on that also. So this is my right angle triangle. We label it with the points that we have. This top the right angle triangle on that. This one is H, label as Q. So with the position of H here, this angle here is 50. Now we are asked again the position if the angle of depression from H is to be 40 degrees. The position of H if the angle of depression is 40 degrees. Bring it down and see the angle. The position of H if the angle of depression from the top H 40 degrees. So we'll have this from horizontal eye level, then angle of depression 40 degrees like this. This angle here should be 40 degrees. Let's say this is the position of H now, and that should join here. That should join to line. What is this? Is the question. What is the position of H if the angle of depression is to be 40? That will be alternate to this. How is the position of H here? First, we know from this point H to Q, we know that is 20 meters. Now, how do we, the of H, that is H1 to Q is 20 meters. Now this H2, how will it be? What will be the position of H2 now? So because we know this, we'll solve for this distance, the distance of Q H2, that is what we will solve for. And we will also, we know the distance of T, we know that distance TQ, we know also, we know our TQ is equals to 23.84. We know our TQ is 23.84. We have an angle there, and that angle will serve our theta, which is 40 degrees. So we have this triangle, we have another right angle triangle now. Right angle triangle like this. So this is the right angle. 2. This is Q. This one is our. Have this of Q and H. We know this length, and we know an angle of this distance. We know the distance TQ. Let's find this distance. Now to find the distance, we will use tan again. We will have tan theta is equal to adjacent. For theta is tan 40 is equals to opposite. Opposite is TQ, that is 23.4 all over adjacent. The adjacent we don't know, that is 2 H2. H2 is just the second position of H. So cross multiply. So we'll have Q H2 tan 3.8. Now we want this side, we divide both sides by tan, right here by T, and divide this other side also by T. So you realize at the other side we will cancel tan 40. So Q and side QH2 is equals to that 4 is equals to 23.84 all over tan 23. All over tan 40 is equal to Q H2 is equal to 28.41. This is the distance from the foot position of the distance from the foot of the tower to the second position of H. Now the position of H, you will subtract the two distance. The position of H will be, you will get the second, that is going to be 28.41 minus 20. Now 28.41 minus 20, this will be 8.41. 28.41 minus 20 will be 41. Therefore, if the angle of depression, the position of H will be 8.41 meters away from its original position. So, of H, or we say the position of will be, the position of H will be 8.1 meters. It's away from its original position, away from its previous position or original position, away from its previous position. Or you can say the position of H will be 28.4 away from our last on this, and I'll leave this one. I will read the question. Listen keenly. The feet of two vertical poles of height 3 meters and 7 meters are in line at distance of 20 meters from P. The angle of elevation of the top T pole from the top R of smaller pole is 30 degrees. A, RT, B, distance of the foot of taller P, correct to 3 significant figure. C, angle of elevation of T from P to 1 decimal place. I read again. The feet of two vertical poles 3 meters and 7 meters are in line with a point P. On the smaller pole being between 2 and 20 meters from P. The angle of elevation of the top T of from top R of smaller pole is 30 degrees. Calculate A, distance RT, B, distance of the foot of from P, correct to 3 significant figures. P from correct to 1 decimal. With of the lesson, and always follow the advice of the health workers. Stay safe, wash your hands regularly. Thank you for your kind attention.